3, 2, welcome to Curiosity, the science show presented by Young Academy of India. I'm here sitting at the beach, a famous beach called Varkala in Kerala. So this is episode number 33, the July episode of the Curiosity. So let's start the show with some science news from the last month. So due to seasonal air pollution, it happens in the North India every year, right towards the November, December and January, right? And do you know the impact of this seasonal pollution? There is a new paper in Lancet that says that 10 years of the life expectancy is reduced only because of the air pollution. Isn't it, something that we all have to think about, right? 10 years of your life, friends, is gone just because of this air pollution. And the last month, the UNEP's environmental rankings have been up in the public, and unfortunately our country has slided the rank. Now it is 180. That is not a good news. We really need to be more environmentally conscious, right? We have to fight the pollution, especially the air pollution. And so this year we are celebrating 50 years since Stockholm Conference. It's a very important UN conference, and UNEP was born, United Nations Environmental Program, right, has born out of the Stockholm Conference. I wrote an article in Down to Earth last month. It has been released. Please check out, right? The link to the Down to Earth magazine, the article is right underneath you. That is in the show notes of this video. Okay. And there is yet another book has been released. One of my book, the latest book, is called Life Skills. It's a manual of critical thinking and soft skills, published by White Falcon. Okay, so it's available in the Amazon. Please check out, right? And so the link is also in the show notes. So that is another personal news from the last month, right? And so there is another news that the students in India now can enroll for the PhD right after their BSc. But there is a catch, not for the 3-year BSc program. The newly introduced 4-year honors BSc program as part of the NEP 2020. The implementation is currently underway. And after finishing that 4 years bachelor's program, now the students can directly enroll for the PhD. That's a big news, It's a seismic shift, isn't it? And women feel more cold than men. That is another very interesting paper has published. I came across, So that has something to do with the muscular mass, because the body produces the heat, right? And because the women naturally don't have that much muscular mass, they feel more cold compared with the men. And another story, it's kind of not a good news at all, that microplastics have been found in Antarctica. So microplastics are getting everywhere, friends. And this episode we see that there is one way to filter out the microplastics, so I'm going to cover it. And last episode we saw that the microplastics were found in the lungs, so just like the sesame seed, the same size of microplastics, thousands of them are already in our lungs, and if you do this lung surgery, it will become more clearer. Now coming to this month's discoveries, a quick recap of it. The new study shows that the welfare prevents the crime quite dramatically. The welfare scheme, that is just giving the money and for the social welfare of the poor people, it dramatically removes the crime. It actually prevents the crime. So that is pretty interesting, right? That the story is very, very interesting. So it's not punishment that matters, but it's more the welfare scheme, like reinforcement and rehabilitation, right? So rehabilitation is a lot better than punishing or retribution or retaliation, that kind of mentality. We need a positive reinforcement, right, rather than negative reinforcement and labeling the criminals as you're a crime and let us actually kill you, the hang till death. So that's not how it works. That's very interesting study. Yet another paper, number 2, the story is that it's a tip for the parenting. Asking your kids to do the home chores, like washing the dishes or cleaning your house, the door, has got a great impact on their academic performance and how the kids turn out to be later in their life. So that I think that's very interesting. The study has published in Science last month. So the kids' problem solving ability, the skills are increased only because of this, just by a simple fact that you're asking the kids to help you with the home chores. Isn't it interesting? Yes. But don't label those home chores as punishment. That's not going to work, right? So you're asking your kid to help you with dishwashing because it is a form of punishment. No, that doesn't work that way, right? So, and the next story is that when the children are involved with the extracurricular activities like sports and pursuing the hobbies and all, they're more likely to feel happier and healthier than the counterparts, the other kids who were glued onto the screen, right? Always watching YouTube or endless scrolling in the social media. Much better alternative is to do the extracurricular works, especially outdoor in the green spaces. That is another interesting related story. Now, next is about the water treatment plants. So as I told, the microplastics are getting everywhere, right? So the nanoplastics, really small plastics, can be removed by the so-called biologically active slow sand filter. That's a very interesting story which I came across, the last one, right? So the efficacy of this the new method is 99.9%. So all these microplastics can be removed by this biofilm coated trickling filters. That is the study says. And then in one of our previous episode of this curiosity, we covered about the sniffing dogs, right? The airport sniffer dogs that can sniff out COVID-19. Now we have got statistics. These trained dogs can sniff out COVID-19 much better than RT-PCR. Can you believe it? The detection rate is better than this RT-PCR or qPCR. That's really amazing. I already covered in the curiosity that the Helsinki airport in Finland, they have already employed the sniffer dogs to sniff out the COVID-19. Amazing, isn't it? Yes. So next is that exposure to the humorous memes about anti-vaxxer. So that can actually boost, to your intention to get a COVID-19 vaccine. So these memes are not just humorous, but the people actually take it at its face value. So it do help. So if you're a meme creator, the internet memes, right? The cartoons, for example, humorous memes, we can use it as a science communication tool. That's really interesting. Back in Paris, I met one of the other expert. Her name is her pen name is Sai Babe. So please check out her Facebook page. So she takes a humor as the route to sensitize the public. So I link up her page also down below in this YouTube video. Please check out her page. She has got millions of followers. Okay, so do check it out. Another interesting story of this month is that there is a new drug of course, for the diabetes, the type 2 diabetes. It works fantastically for obesity. Can you believe it? So the drug is called tirzepatide, and it works on two naturally occurring hormones that help to control the blood sugar level. And so it gives you a fullness signal to your body that you're no more hunger. I don't need more food. So because of that signal to your body, you eat less, and you can control your obesity. That is very, very interesting. So there is another same class but another drug called semaglutide. So both of these drugs are just hit in the market. Of course it's very expensive. There is no generic version, but yes, so both of these drugs do promise the treatment for the obesity. So finding the use outside of its intended use. Very interesting, right? For example, another such example which just came to my mind is the Viagra. The original use was to treat the blood pressure, but they found some other use of it, right? Erectile dysfunction. So now the Viagra is usually used for ED rather than for the blood pressure treatment. So it's amazing. The curiosity-driven basic research is fantastic, friends. So another news is that more than 40% of Earth's land surface needs to be conserved. So if you want to counter the biodiversity crisis. So right now, how much percentage of the Earth's surface area is conserved? Just 14.7%, including Antarctica. So you need a different kind of the mindset and different law enforcement to dramatically increase this reserve forest and all these ecosystems, conserved ecosystems, right? Yeah. And ninth story is that the politicians remarkably live longer than the ordinary man. what is happening here? Why the politicians, the life expectancy is very high? So it's pretty natural because of the financial security, and they are very powerful people, and they can get the treatment done in some of the best hospitals in the world, and of course they do have helpers of all sorts, right? And maybe that is what the influence, the political influence will have. They can leverage the medical care for their benefit. So that is very, very interesting. And another very interesting story is that the scientists have developed a stretchable fabric that can produce electricity. Can you imagine charging your phone just because of you're wearing a kind of a t-shirt that produces the electricity? So when you move your body, so that motion, you can actually make electricity. I read this paper and it's pretty interesting. The paper said just 3 centimeter to 4 centimeter piece can light up 100 LEDs. So it is around approximately 5 watts. So that is pretty good. So if you can scale it up. So scalability is a problem with most of these inventions, right? So hopefully they will scale it up. So scientists have found the evidence that Earth's inner core oscillates. That is very interesting. This is a new paper in Nature published last month that says that the inner core keep on oscillating. That is contradicts the previously accepted model. By the way, I hope you already know that magnetic poles reverses. So this pole reversal happen approximately once in 3 lakh years. That means the North Pole will go to the South and South Pole will go to the North. Very interesting, right? So that reversal happened like that. So if you look up the reversals, there had been 183 reversals in the last 83 million years. So 183 reversals in 83 million. So by the way, this is not the reason for the climate change, right? The climate change denials say all these cycles like Milankovitch cycle is the reason why the earth is getting hotter. No, that is not the case at all. This is we have a scientific consensus that say the climate change happens because of the anthropocentric effects, especially the emissions. So we need to curtail the emissions. So another very interesting study on the turtles, right? So we knew that earlier. It was a conjecture that the turtles live remarkably long. Now we have excellent proof that it's true. The aging almost non-existent in the turtle. Very interesting, isn't it? So of course there are some turtles that can live really long. For one example is the Darwin, the Charles Darwin. He collected a turtle from Galapagos Island, and its name was Harriet. And it died in 2006. See that how many years did they live? That the turtle lived for 176 years. So it's not because of their metabolism. Earlier we thought it's because of the turtle's slow metabolism is the reason, but no. The reason is that it has got excellent protective measures. For example, it has got the test, the shell, it protects. And animals having these protective measures, for example, venom, like venomous snakes too, right? Or shell around their body, live longer. So all these are really interesting examples that we can take it for aging research, to achieve immortality. Who knows it? We can emulate these biochemical pathways. Now, 13th story is that the brain scans are remarkably good at predicting the political lineage. Isn't it fantastic? Just by doing an fMRI scan, and you can do any activity while fMRI is going on, right? So you can just think, or you can just lay silent, and just because an fMRI is doing, it can predict, are you a conservative or a Republican? Are you left-leaning person or a right-leaning person, just by fMRI? France's brain neuroimaging is getting really powerful, and for one reason, you don't really need an fMRI also, right? If you can just analyze your Facebook likes, the AI can do this remarkably successfully. It can tell you which political lineage you have. So the things are really changing, and it has got connotations on the privacy, right? Yeah. So yes, that paper that says that the Republicans, now in America it's Republicans and conservatives, right? So Republicans favor the amygdala, while Republicans are conservative, right? And the Democrats, what did they favor? Left insular region responsible for cognition. So Democrats more activity in fMRI on in the brain, frontal brain, where this region is there, this left insular region is there. While for the conservative, it is mostly really conserved, like frightened. When you are frightened, so it's like so like for example, a dog is barking to you, right? You really need to run away. So that time the amygdala is a region that gets light up, right? So that region is more active for conservative politician, nationalistic politician, the right wing, right? The other side is for the left wing. Very interesting, isn't it? And now the final story of the last month is that the researchers have developed a camera system that can see the sound vibrations. So can you imagine a camera that can actually photograph the musical instrument like the violin and guitar, every sound, the wave by wave, that it can color code these waves. In the orchestra, it can detect just one musical instrument. That's amazing, isn't it? So that is the new camera. That is that's pretty interesting. I really like it. Coming to the UN observances, 11th is a World Population Day. 15th is World Youth Skills Day. All these are UN observances, right? 20th is there are two events there: Chess Day and Moon Day. The moon landing, right? Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon on this day, the 20th of July, way back in 1969, aboard Apollo 11 spacecraft. Yeah. 30th is the International Day of Friendship, the day for friends. Next is astronomy events. As usual, all these are binocular events. You don't need a telescope to see it. If you have a small binocular, you can see it, right? And also I suggest you an excellent app called Skyview, right? It's a free app. You can upgrade if you don't want these ads. 4th is Earth at aphelion. Aphelion and perihelion. These two are two points in our orbital around the sun. Okay, so 4th is aphelion, and aphelion is actually farthest from the sun, right? So we are actually farthest away from the sun, but still we are really hot now, right? So the reason is that it has nothing to do with our relative position to the sun. Seasons are rather influenced by the axial tilt, right? So right now it is northern hemisphere facing the sun, and that's why we have summer in the north while winter in the south. Okay, and 14th is supermoon. It's called buck moon. So in this year we have only 2 supermoon. Last month there was a supermoon, right? June, and July also we'll see a supermoon. Okay, and 16th is a conjunction. So we have several conjunctions in this month. 16th July is a conjunction of the moon and Saturn. 19th is a conjunction of moon and Jupiter, and 21 is a conjunction of moon and Mars. And we also have peak of 2 asteroid showers. Okay, so the first one is called the 30th of this month, right? 30th of July, the peak of Southern Delta Aquarid meteor shower. Also the same day, the 30th, is the peak of Alpha Caprinoid meteor shower. So 30th is a good day if you happen to live in high altitude places where the sky is blue. So please check out. The heavens will flower, right? It will shower via the meteors, right? So of course there are several opportunities for the young researchers and students. Do check out in the Facebook link. I've linked up right below the curiosity opportunity section, right? So all the show notes, every single article which I covered in this one, you can check out the show notes. Okay, so that will take you to the original article. Okay, so the opportunities include DBT Welcome Trust Senior and Intermediate Fellowship. The deadline is 15th July. 2024 Fulbright Nehru Doctoral Fellowship, 15th July is the deadline. And MK Pan Young Research Fellowship Scheme of the DBT, that is Department of Biotechnology, again deadline is 15th July. And there are so many other opportunities. Please check out the show notes, and that will take you a Google sheet where the volunteers, the YAI associates, are spending their time to share the joy of knowledge and opportunities for the rest of us. Okay, so please do check out. Also check out our Young Academy of India's Facebook page and be part of our group. And yes, so that you will see that all these stories, when the volunteers and moderators post it into our group, you can see it. That's it for July. I hope you will have a fantastic month, a very productive month, and I will see you soon in with the yet another episode called in the month of August. Until then, please take care of yourself, and if you can, someone else too. Goodbye.